All right. Looks like I'm live. See if I can get my blue light saving glasses on if I can find them. And I don't know where they are. So anyway, nice to see you guys. Let me get let the Facebook group know, and whoever's here say hi. Let's see here. Let's hope that okay. Make sure this works. Starting now. It worked. Nice. Hey, Mark. Welcome to the tribe, man. Long time coming. Long time coming. All right. Okay. Um, yeah, good to see everybody. Good to see you guys. I know it's been a few weeks, and I apologize for that. Uh, you know, Mom's birthday was yesterday. That was cool. Um, and I'm launching a new company as of tomorrow morning. Some exciting things. I've been going sort of crazy, getting the details together and everything. But I'm excited. Thankfully, I've been spending the last really month and a half sort of launching two different projects, so to speak. And it doesn't end when the day you launch, but it's always a bit more work when you're trying to figure things out pre-launch. So as of tomorrow, we're launched and we're off to the races. And they're both call center industry companies. So hopefully, I'll continue to be cutting edge and be able to help you guys out and answer questions in a way that is valuable and useful even in the coming years. So let me turn this air on because it is 78 degrees and I can see the sweat forming on my forehead. Um, and also, let me let y'all know what questions I intend on answering. Uh, Mark, I will. I'm going to hopefully send you an email after the call ends, and we'll figure out the white label. Um, yeah, we'll figure that out. But there's a couple questions that I have prepared here to answer. Excuse me. The first is, what was your proudest moment while running your call center? The second is, at what point did you realize this business would work? And the third is, if there's one thing I could have done differently, what would it be? So these three questions are provided by my wife. Very good questions. I think all three of them were very good questions. So thank you for that, wife. Uh, okay, so Mark, now that you're here, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer. You guys might have seen Mark in prior calls, and it's been a long time coming, but he is currently in the tribe. And Mark, if you're willing to comment on how the course is so far, please do, so that others that are considering can see it. Now, the first question again that came up was, what was your proudest moment while running your call center? So I think that's a pretty good question. And I do have, I think, a lot of cool moments. But the big thing about this company is that, in a sense, it represented a lot of first. Um, it was the first company that was created based off of something that I really thought up on my own, honestly. The call center was not the call center, my cleaning company and the stuff in the past. Like the cleaning company, I ran into someone that was talking about it, and I was like, oh, I could do that. Right? This guy, Rohan Gilchik, spelled out how to start a cleaning company. And I was like, that's a good idea. I could do that. But the call center thing was like, I was looking for the service for myself, and no one was talking about it, and no one was in my ear or mentoring me and saying, "Hey, you should do this." It was just a realization I had that, this I feel like this would work. Um, and so, it was my first like idea, right? And it's very nice to be able to create something from that idea and get even one client from it, right? Um, and so that's a proud thing. It solidified me knowing that I could use my intuition and nothing else, put in some work, grind it out, and create something that had value. That's an extremely powerful thing. And it's the moment that I realized that I had the ability to just create income for myself and my family, and actually be sufficient in that way, right? Actually have some sort of self sufficiency through the generation and creation of my own income. Like, I really, even to this day, it's an amazing thing to me. Whether you have an up or down day, the ability to go out there and create income is a beautiful, one of the greatest gifts you can have in modern society, I think. Um, so there wasn't. I don't know if there was a specific moment, um, but just conceptually and philosophically, it was a great thing. Um, there was the other first with it's the first business that I created, um, that reached the value of seven figures. My cleaning company never did that. Technically, the software company, we sold for like just over $1 million, but I didn't own 50% of that, so I didn't really see that much money from the exit. So, when I sold this call center, I was the only owner. There was no outside investor. I had a partner originally, but I bought him out after a year. So I was the only, 100% sole owner. So it was a lot more significant. Um, and so, creating something that has seven figure value, again, that was straight up my idea. No mentorship, no outside investors. It's just a crazy thing. Um, and I mean, it's great. So let's not talk too much about that. I started late, and I would say I was very proud of the fact that we were able to get it off the ground and prove the fact that it worked. The second question, which sort of ties right into it, is at what point did you realize the business would work, right? Um, so I realized the business would work probably. Okay, I realized this thing had potential before I fully decided I was going to do it, because I had the need personally, right? I had a cleaning company that had the need that I was fulfilling with Vicky Virtual Receptionist. Um, so all I had to do was find people in the same situation as myself, and those are clients. Simple as that. Um, and we did a pre-launch, and there were people that were interested in, like, during the pre-launch. It's like, as soon as you guys do launch, we're going to sign up. And they were telling us that, and we knew that. It's still a little bit different, though, for people to say, oh, I'm interested, and for people to actually sign up, and for people to actually start paying you. So I would say when we sent that, hey, we've launched email on January 1st, 2015, and people started signing up, and we actually got, 5 sign up that first day. I was like, okay, well, people clearly want to use this, right? I mean, clearly there are other companies in the space, but it was like, okay, people think that we are sufficient enough to solve this problem for them. So we're taking calls, and um, we got indication. that people were satisfied with how we were handling the call. We started getting compliments, on our agents. Felt like, okay, not only are we serving people, but we're serving them in a satisfactory way. That's an important thing. And then, when we got to the point that we had enough revenue coming in to cover our agent and the cost of the phone system and stuff, and at least be in the black, so to speak. Um, Once you're in the black as a company, no matter how small the revenue is, it it's sustainable now. I mean, it's paying for itself, right? It's not something that would paying me a full time income yet, but at least it's paying for itself. And I think a business is viable at that point. You can have a viable business without having a successful business. And so it was viable at that point, and in realizing the viability, it was definitely an exciting time. And my partner and I, which was was still my partner then, we were very excited to continue to work on the venture and grow it. Okay. Um, so, hey, Mark, thank you for that. um, See, you know, you heard it. You're reading it from someone that straight up is, he was excited. He had all kinds of anticipation built up, and now he's going through the course. So it's amazing. Having started so many companies, it's great to have a detailed and real, no BS roadmap to success. Feels guilty for getting in on 40% off. It's worth far more. Realistic way to get to $1 million a year business. Yeah, I agree. It's a realistic way to get to $1 million a year business. Now, I'm not going to promise that any of you are ever going to achieve that, but it is possible, right? There's plenty of businesses in the space that are doing at least $1 million. So there's that. Um, so thank you for that, Mark. I really appreciate it. So yeah, we realized the business would work. When you know, like we had people that were using our service, we had people that were happy with our service, and we were able to continue signing up people to the point that the business was paying for itself. Um, and then the third question was, if there was one thing I could have done differently, what would it be? The first time around, well, there are two ways to approach answering this question. The first is, do I have regrets? And the answer is no. I don't have any regrets in terms of the way we went about building this business because we didn't know anything. And, I think we did a pretty good job considering the fact that we didn't know anything at all. There were actually, around the time I was posting, my partner and I, when we launched, we were posting about it in a large Facebook group with a bunch of cleaning business owners that really I was a huge contributor in that group and considered one of the top contributors in terms of just actionable advice, right? So everybody sort of knew me in that group, and so it built a lot of goodwill when it was time for me to launch something because people were like, "Oh, I know Donald. I'm sure what he's working on will be useful." Uh, and the point is that there were other people that essentially tried to copycat, which now I would appreciate because I'd be like, well, take my course. But at the time, obviously, I didn't want all kinds of competitors right when I'm launching. And there were like 15 different people that like sort of tried to copycat us, and they didn't do things in their own way. They just basically tried to copy us, and they all failed. Except maybe I think there was one company that didn't. They pivoted a bit, uh, did a slightly different service offering, and they did not fail. But there was like 15 that I know of, and they all failed. So I know that we did a pretty good job in terms of implementing and doing things correctly. Um, the way I spelled out in the course, I think it makes things a lot simpler, but you still got to put in the work. And a lot of people that just come in trying to copycat, they're not willing to put in the work. They just want to set it and forget it. They want to set up the business and have everything just start, firing on all cylinders and working for them. That's not how it works. So, you know, it would be really difficult for me to say in hindsight that we should have done anything different. Now, with the experience of doing things the first time around, I am doing one thing different this time around, and that is that instead of hiring all US based people, we are working with agents that are located overseas. And so, in our case, with both course agents as well as Bandu Virtual, my two new companies, we are using Zimbabwean. Great English, uh, fourth most educated country in Africa, a huge talent pool of people that are ready and willing and eager to work. And of course, the wages are less than their American counterpart. Um, and so, obviously that gives more room for you to either invest more into your business or just take more margin out, assuming that you price around the same as you would use an American worker. And frankly, there's no reason not to, right? The quality of service that we're going to be able to provide, I believe it's going to be the same, if not better. Um, the communication barrier is like there's no barrier, and so, there's certain times where things were sort of tight, where they would not have been tight even during those times if we were using overseas talent. So, that's the one takeaway that I'm utilizing this time around. Um, and it's nice to be able to have things be less complicated. One mistake that I do think was a true mistake with running Vicky Virtual was we had agents, or Vicky has agents in all kinds of different states. We were in 20 different states at one point. And when you do that, it makes payroll very complicated. There's a lot more documents and paperwork and crap. And honestly, it's not my forte. I don't like it at all. Uh, Thankfully, payroll company, ADP and then Gusto, they're really good at that type of stuff, but it's still a lot. When you have overseas talent that, let's say you have a US based company, I don't know how it works for other countries, but in the US at least, if you hire talent that did not have a US citizenship, um, and also did not live or reside in the US, if neither, if both of those things are true, they don't live in the excuse me, they don't live in the U.S. and they don't have U.S. citizenship. If that's the case, then you actually don't have to do W-2 paperwork and payments, and you don't have to do 1099. So you don't have to do like payroll taxes. You don't have to do like the workers' comp insurance and all those types of things. And obviously, that has an impact on your margins as well. Now, if you want to, provide for your people and provide some type of benefits and insurance from their own countries, then feel free. But it's not a requirement. And again, the payroll taxes are not there anymore. So that is important, right? It's something that's important to me. I like not having to do as much paperwork. I like being able to just, you know, pay people however which way I decide to pay them and not worry about how the IRS feels about it later. Um, so that's big. Okay, so I've been talking for a while. Does anyone have any questions? There's a few other people watching here. So feel free to ask whatever questions you might have, or at least introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. I feel like there's a bunch of anonymous people when you don't say anything. So hopefully you can say hi if you're willing. I'd really appreciate that. Um, Mark is always out here, being almost a lone ranger sometimes, even though there's other people watching this Q&A. So um, again, I've been talking about this business for 2.5 years now. 3 days from now, it will be 2.5 years since I launched my course called Center Cash. And those years went by really fast. And it's almost depressing how fast those years went by because 2.5 years from now, I will be 40 years old. And I need to take a moment of silence. All right, I'm going to be 40 years old in less than 2.5 years, really 2 years, 1 month, and 6 days. Um, I need another moment of silence. But anyway, time goes by fast. And we've had some great stories. We've had some great people come through and create businesses, and really sort of mature and evolve as entrepreneurs. Some of our students have, they were starting companies for the first time. They were certainly usually starting call centers for the first time, and a few of them been sort of have been really. They went from being unsure and not necessarily confident to doing higher level things, right? Like, oh, I don't worry about getting clients anymore. I just think about how to structure the business, how to create systems, and how to build our business development manager up and that type of stuff. It's just a cool thing to see. Emmanuel Vasquez, welcome. Um, how did you get your first client? I'm assuming he means how did you get your first client? So let me know if that's correct. How did you get your first client? The way we got our first client was very simple. Again, I had a cleaning company, um, and when we were first, my partner and I, who was also a cleaning company owner, a separate one, he was in Kansas City. I'm in Chicago. um, we decided to team up, and when we did, we were like, okay, well, let's hit up the cleaning business owner group that we're in and say, hey, we're offering a call center for cleaning companies. If you're interested, we can take your call in a way that only cleaning business owners know how. Our agents are going to be specially trained. We're uniquely qualified to handle certain situations that we understand better than the random other virtual receptionist company that you could, potentially try. Plus, we'll give you 10% off for life if you are one of our founding clients, limited to the first 20 people to sign up, right? And so we put them on an email list if they were interested. We sent them a few emails saying, hey, we're going to be launching soon. We picked the phone system, we determined our price, and blah, blah, blah. And day one, we sent out email to that list of maybe 35 to 40 people, small list. And literally that first day, 11 minutes after sending the email, we got our first client. And the first client was also the exact same person that decided to buy Vicky Virtual 4.5, almost 5 years later. So you could say that was an extremely profitable first client. That's sort of a really crazy thing to think about. Um, so that's how we got our first client. We essentially picked a niche that we were already in, and we reached out to our network based off of people that we knew in that niche that we figured could use the service. And some of them took us up on it and said, "Yeah, we'll try you guys out." So I hope that answers your question, Emmanuel. Thanks for asking. Good question. Any other questions anyone else might have? One thing that I need to stop doing is I like buy these, like reusable water bottles. Um, and I keep losing them, and it's very frustrating. And so I end up buying disposable water bottles. And with the microplastics and stuff that we're putting in the ocean, sorry to get I'm on my soapbox for a moment here. Microplastics that are building up in the ocean is really having an impact. I really need to stop doing that. I'm gonna stop. I'm going to get another. I'm gonna get like three, reusable water bottles and stick to that. Hey, Julie. Good to see you. Good to see you on here. Any question? Feel free to ask. Uh, let's see. Cool. Yeah. Any other question? Feel free to ask. Julie, I will be doing the tribe call in 14 minutes if you want to hop on that. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, any other questions from anyone? I'm going to stick around for maybe 5 more minutes. And of course, for anyone that just showed up, if you're not aware, these sessions are always recorded. and so you'll be able to see, everything I've said up into this moment. So keep that in mind. All right, so it looks like there's 7 of you watching right now, maybe even more, because sometimes YouTube lags on that. Uh, any questions anyone has, feel free to ask. 8 of you now, and if you're not asking a question, at least introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from. Um, that would be very cool, and I would appreciate it. Yeah, so Julie, so this is the thing, Julie. In order to have built our pre-launch email list, that's what we did. We reached out to people in our network, and if you're reaching out to potential clients, I haven't done any. Okay, actually, um, the smartest way to answer that, Julie, is to check out Eric's interview. Eric did. Emmanuel, you don't have to report overseas employee to the IRS. It's literally not required at all. If you have an overseas employee that is not a U.S. citizen and doesn't live in the U.S., you literally just pay them as if you're paying. It's a terrible way to put it, but they're just another expense. You can almost file it the same way you would say, "Oh, I paid for this software, and then I also, paid these overseas people a certain amount of money." It is not considered like a payroll type thing that you have to deal with payroll paperwork in the U.S. And the IRS it's like it's not even in the rule to go after you for it or to charge you for it. Um, Julie, I will send you a link to the Zoom as soon as I hop off of this. Okay. So Julie, again, I would watch Eric's interview. Essentially, what he did was he was in I think he went to a business networking thing or a chamber of commerce thing, and the people we met, he's like, hey, I've got something. If you're interested, I'd love to take you out to coffee and see if this is something that might work for you. And so he would take people out to coffee, and he sort of pre-sold his service. And what he did was he landed 5 clients that way at like some predetermined price. I think it was $450 per month per client. And so the day he launched, he actually had about $2,500 in revenue, maybe $2,000 in revenue. No, it's like $2,500, I think, in revenue. And at first, he was taking calls himself. So, he was able to immediately, bring in some revenue and pay the bill that he had associated with the call center. Now, um, again, if you're not reaching out to people directly, then what some people can do is is create some type of email opt-in page, like a squeeze page, and on that squeeze page, have some type of um, valuable uh, what is the word? Some type of giveaway, something that you're giving away for someone to opt in and be able to collect that lead. For instance, you might do some type of report that's like, the 5 best ways to streamline your small business. Or maybe you want to get more specific because I think you're reaching out to, blue collar industries. So, say it's plumbing companies, say 5 best ways to streamline your plumbing business or your whatever business. And to get access to the report, um, you sort of reference your call center, and they are on your email list, and you can send them additional emails saying, "Hey, thank you for your free report," and then or requesting a free report. Here's the report. Here's the information, and then you send a few emails saying, "Hey, we're going to be launching soon, and if you're interested, this is what our pricing is going to be." Blah blah blah. So it's basically a lead magnet. That's the term. Forgot the term for a second there. But you're providing a lead magnet on a squeeze page that you're directing traffic to however which way you want. I don't really recommend running ads right now, but some people are doing it. You know, there are people that are cold emailing from the beginning, building lead list and cold emailing, but we can talk about it more on the tribe call. It's a very long answer, basically. um, but again, what we did when we were in our pre-launch was we reached out to people in our network, considering we were in the cleaning business industry, and that proved to be something that gave us a nice little um, foundation to stand on when we launched. Okay. Any other final questions? I don't know. I'm going to stick around for maybe 2 more minutes, so I'll answer one more question if there are any. Okay. And Mark, I will email you the Zoom link as soon as I hop off it. I'm assuming you're not on Facebook. Um, and actually, one of the things on my laundry list, I was going to start working on this and then start working on launching these two companies. One of the things on the laundry list is that the tribe group is eventually going to be moved off of Facebook and into a software built specifically for sort of like core communities. I think it's called Heartbeat, and it's supposed to be really good. It integrates directly with Zoom. It's a lot more organized in terms of all the content that's been posted, all the stuff that we posted over the last 2.5 years in the tribe on Facebook. It's just all over the place. And so I'd like it to be more organized. I like people to be able to, you know, go through the archive better. And then also it stop people that don't want to be on Facebook, which honestly, I don't even want to be on Facebook, but I have to. It stopped people from Mark having to, create a Facebook account just to participate in the tribe. Um, we've got like, I think we just passed 150 in the Facebook tribe group, but we have over 300 students. So that should give you an idea about how many people don't want to be on Facebook. So, again, eventually we'll switch over. So stay tuned for that. Keep that in mind for people that are considering the course and for those of you that are watching it that are in the tribe. Okay. Okay. So I got to start this tribe call in about 6 minutes. So I'm going to hop off now. But next week, nothing's going to stop me next week. 2 weeks from now, I am going to be on a flight during this time. And so 2 weeks from now, I will not be doing the call. But next week, I'll be here. Julie, I will send you the Zoom. I can send that to you on Facebook, I think. I think we're connected. So yeah, 2 weeks from now on August 3rd, I won't be doing this call. So I'll warn you now. But next week I'll be here actually at 6:30 instead of running late like I did this week, and I apologize. I hope you guys got some value here today. And again, any questions that you guys might have in between, feel free to just comment here or reach out to me directly. Donald at callcenterclass.com, not cash, but class, CLASS, call center, Donald at callcenterclass.com, and I'm happy to help. So thanks so much. Appreciate you all, and I will see you next week.